Hello guys, Adam Harris here. It's 8:15 at night on my side, which is probably sticking at about 10 a.m. on your side in the morning. This is for my US clients, just to give you a sense of how I go about arranging, how I create availability. We have a proprietary booking management system, and I create sessions and then I allow you to book them up. So first of all, just to demonstrate on my side, this is my day, so it'll start at 7 a.m. and normally goes through to sort of 8, 9, 10 p.m. at the moment. So these slots from 5 p.m. until 10 p.m. are created to service US and Canada. And at the moment, it's, I was kind of in the middle. All these sessions had already been booked up before I was then allocated that I was now put in charge of clients from that different time zone. And so that I'm working incredibly long hours, which is just, I'm going to change that. So probably what I will do at a certain point is do my normal sessions for the UK and for other time zones, sort of between here and 1 o'clock, and then head home and kind of deal with the rest of things in my life, and have a bit of a nap, and then be able to pick back up again and work the second half of my day probably from home as opposed to from the office. But it's going to take me a week or two to be able to do that, because I'm actually insanely booked up. So and my time is just my time in the evenings is just going to be to cater for the US and Canada. So the way that it works is I haven't currently actually allocated time for you to create sessions. It won't always be that way. It's just the way it is right now because my days are so crazily booked up. What's happening is, as soon as I'm creating time for the US and Canada, it's being taken by my UK clients because they're just very nervous about not being able to get sessions with me. So if you send me an email and you say, look, I'd really like to do a session with you at this time, then I can put it in. So the first thing that happens is if you can imagine that my slots are available from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock in London times, then what I do is, if you use a feature at the website called timeanddate.com, you can use what's called a meeting planner. You can find the best time zone or whatever. You can match your times to mine, which will help you make things a lot easier. So I'm in London, and you can pick any day, it doesn't really matter. And then you can add your own location. So if, for example, I have some US clients in Vallejo in California, so if I select that as my other alternate time zone, I can then show a timetable for those two particular places. And so it provides me with a London time, and obviously we do the same for you. So we have London and California, and I recognize that California is quite big, but it would allow you to sync up with me. So we are now, we are here, it's 8:15 in the evening, and so that's kind of where we are, which means it's 12 o'clock lunchtime in the US. So that obviously allows you to sync up with mine. So in other words, if you're wanting to do a session at, let's say, 11 o'clock, you would understand that is then 1700 hours on my side. That would then help you to determine what time you want the session to be with me. And then I can create that availability. So if someone said to me that they would like to do a session with me, let's pick tomorrow because it'll be a bit clearer. So if somebody from, let's say, hypothetically speaking, the US, said that they wanted to do a session with me and they were in California, they wanted to do a session with me that would be 10 o'clock their side, that would be 6 o'clock my side. So you could alternatively send me an email and say, look, I'd like to do a session 6 o'clock London time, which is 10 o'clock my time, and I want to do a 30-minute session or an hour-long session. I will then create that session for you. So then I would go to that particular date, and at that time, which if you said for me that was, say, 10 o'clock at 6 o'clock my side, then what I would do is go across to 6 o'clock and create the session there, make it a remote session, and if it was an hour, create that availability, and then when I save it, you would then actually be able to see that slot on my side. If you refreshed the booking page on the website, you would be able to see that slot available. So that's how I do it. Alternatively, you can say to me, if I can do a session at that time, and then what I will do is create the session and immediately go and actually book you in on it. Otherwise, that session might get booked up by someone else. So I can, temporarily I can create and book you in on these sessions. and obviously, of course, I can create the availability for you. So going forwards, and I hope this will be from next week onwards indefinitely, I will create literally time from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock, perhaps 2 or 3 days a week. I don't want to do it every day. It's like working a night shift. Obviously, I will do it to make sure everyone gets exactly the service that they want. But if I'm finding that this, that only, you're only requiring 3 days of my week, then I'll obviously just create 3 days, and as the demand increases, I'll add to it. And based on my last month, my coaching is increasing almost exponentially, which is a bit crazy. So that's why I want to split half my day to the US and Canada, and the other half literally between Europe, South Africa, and the UK, so that everything is kind of managed that way. So that just explains to you how you can match up what time it is on your side. You can send me an email, I can create the session for you, and you can then go ahead and book it, or you can ask me to book it, and I will create the session and book it for you, and you will receive an email. For those of you who haven't had a session with me, I really, I know everyone's desperate to get trading. I really recommend, I can do a lot of these sessions on short notice, but I really recommend that you book your first session at minimum 1 hour with me. Half an hour is just too quick, and a lot of you are wanting to know how to use the FXM broker and how to use eSignal. I am going to create videos for you guys that don't exist at the moment to show you how to adjust your eSignal pages, how to walk through I know that Andy Hewardine did some webinars. I will try to track those down and see if they're actually recorded, and then we can just post them up again in a separate email. But yes, that's essentially there to help you, and obviously we're creating new content for you all the time. So I hope that this just gives you an indication of how the system works on my side, and how it'll give you a temporary solution for the next week or so, and then from then on there will just be time available that will be allocated to the US. But also, again, when you want to match your local time up with my time, there's a tool that you can use to do that. Alright guys, well, hopefully just get in touch with me. It's adam.harris@knowledge2action.co.uk.